Hello everyone, today you're going to be doing a little bit of writing. We're going to be using our Charles Darwin facts to create part of his biography. So in our writer's toolkit for our biography, we need to convey the facts. So we need clear, concise sentences indicating how sure we are of the fact that we're writing about. We need to create cohesion in our writing. This is using a variation of sentence openers, time adverbials, fronted adverbials, showing our writing in clear paragraphs so the reader knows our writing is organised. We need to encourage our readers to engage with the text as well and encourage them to form an opinion of the individual we're writing about. And we're going to be writing in an impersonal and informative style. So use of the third person, not saying I, me, we, using those fronted adverbials and using the passive voice. So here are some ideas of how the biographies we've already looked at have used the writer's toolkit. So there are some phrases in here that you might be able to use for your writing. So time openers, why do we need them? How do they help our reader? So if we look at the sentence, Darwin returned to England and spent the next 20 years trying to explain how finches could be related. How might a time opener help with that? So a time opener could tell us when, what year did that happen? Okay, so it helps create cohesion, it helps create chronology in our writing so our reader understands the order in which things are happening. So I've got these two facts. Darwin was born on the 12th of February 1809 and he was raised in Shrewsbury, Shropshire. How could I connect these two facts? How could I link them? Because if that was my piece of writing, it's not very interesting. So I'm going to model this one and you can have a go with the next one. So your work today, you have your writer's toolkit there to help you in front of you. So I'm going to have a quick look at my sentences. Darwin was born on the 12th of February 1809. He was raised in Shrewsbury, Shropshire. Now you've done lots of research as well, so you can add extra information to this to make it more interesting and to give us more of an idea about Darwin's life. So if I have a think, I want to use a different time opener, not necessarily time opener, sorry. I might start with where. So I'm going to use my fronted adverbial. I'm going to say where. And from my research, I know that Shropshire is a merchant town. It's a small merchant town. So I'm going to start my sentence in the small merchant town of Shrewsbury. Charles Darwin was born, and then I can list a date. Charles Darwin needs capital letter for his name. On the 12th of February, 1809. I then have my next fact that I want to include. Let's go back. He was raised in Shrewsbury, Shropshire. I've already said he was born there, so I need to explain that he was raised there as well. Let's make this a little bigger so we can see it clearly. In the small merchant town of Shrewsbury, Charles Darwin was born on the 12th of February, 1809. This Shropshire town, because we know Shrewsbury is in Shropshire, we know the county then. This Shropshire town is where the fascinating naturalist, adding my opinion in as well, because from what I've read about him, I believe he's had a fascinating life. So this Shropshire town is where the fascinating naturalist was raised. I'm going to add a bit of parenthesis with his 5 siblings. I'm adding that extra information, so it's not necessary, so I'm going to put it in brackets because it's not pertinent, but it's extra information for my reader. This Shropshire town is where the fascinating naturalist was raised with his 5 siblings in a life of wealth and privilege. So I'm telling my reader a little bit about his upbringing as well. So he was raised wealthy, he was raised privileged, he was one of the lucky ones back in the 1800s. So I'm going to read it through again, make sure it makes sense. In the small merchant town of Shrewsbury, I put a comma because that's my fronted adverbial, Charles Darwin was born on the 12th of February 1809. This Shropshire town is where the fascinating naturalist was raised with his 5 siblings in a life of wealth and privilege. So I've used those 2 sentences, but I've added more information. I've made it more interesting. So your task is going to be linking these 3 facts. Darwin went on a 5-year scientific expedition on the HMS Beagle. He went to South America, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa, and he collected specimens of animals and plants to study them. That's supposed to say and, sorry. And plants to study them. Think about the facts that you found about Charles Darwin, linked to the HMS Beagle, linked to this expedition. What else can you add? Think about using those fronted adverbials. Where, when, make it interesting, link the ideas, and make your paragraph really clear, really informative. And remember to use those subtle hints of opinion. So not pure opinion, just that subtle hint. As I did in mine, I just added, this town is where the fascinating naturalist, that fascinating, that's my opinion. Okay. I look forward to reading your paragraphs and seeing what you come up with.